Salutations, fellow frequent flyers and miles hoarders and travel hackers. I hope you're having a good week and that everything has been going okay. Finally, we are back with the Miles and Points Report, which is a more in-depth thing than the Rudy and I, as you know, we do our weekly travel minute or travel minutes. We try to do this almost every day, and we've done it a couple of times this week. So, but this is more of an in-depth thing, focusing more on the miles and points thing. Where Rudy's thing is more of a general travel thing. And today we have Marshall's finally back after about hiatus of about 3 years.
Happy
government work seems very busy.
I could tell you what I've been doing, but then I'd have to kill you.
He's a government employee after all, right?
Yeah, when you have Pete Buttigieg as your boss, then yeah, no kidding.
I'm sorry, is that what this topic is about, or
no, not really.
Defeating Donald Trump? What?
No, I don't talk about the politics, the religion, or the covet.
Smart.
Oh, the covet. We don't talk about the covet.
Right. Okay, what's news, Tommy?
If he talks about the covet, he would have to kill you.
What's news, Tommy? What's news?
Yeah, so we're going to start a little bit today talking about Apple AirTags. And I got into it with, you have all of these Facebook group. And as you know, the FTU also have the FTU, the Frequent Travel University Community page on Facebook, which is a small group, but it's growing very quickly right now. But there are many other groups. You have Award Travel 101. You've got 10X Travel, and all of these. The cool kids they have their place in it. And I've noticed, and also all of these top tier elites. So if you fly American a lot, or you fly United a lot, you have 1K United flyers have a group, and Executive Platinum. You know what I'm talking about. So in these groups, just to what we're talking about here, what has been said today, which upset a lot of Americans. Oh, Germans can't decide what to do for me, and like we always do. And what really this was about was where the AirTags were was leaked from Lufthansa. And one social media guy responded that yes, AirTags have a lithium battery in them, and so. That was the thing that made American go wild about that. So
I think what you're trying to say in a roundabout way is that Lufthansa at first said, "Well, you can't have any AirTags in your luggage when you're flying our airline because it has a lithium battery in it." And the news today is.
Well, the news today is that the European regulatory authorities and also the FAA has given a statement, and also Lufthansa has clarified that unfortunately for that poor guy who responded to that tweet and said that it was banned, it was never banned to begin with. There was just a lot of confusion out there, and it hasn't been banned. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about this whole AirTag thing, and I have AirTags, and we use AirTags when we bring the kittens out in the backyard. We put AirTags on their harness. We have the harness, and the AirTags are kind of integrated into that. I also have it in my backpack. I have it in my car, in addition to the low jack system. And
guys, I think your wife said she makes you wear it as well, right?
She does. Yeah. When I go to Vegas, I find AirTags in my underpants. So it's a helpful tool. But what we've seen, a lot of posts this summer, I have some screenshots here from that, but I'm not going to, because these are private people's Facebook posts, I don't feel that it's right to share those, but I'm going to refer a couple of them. And it pretty much goes like people are using these AirTags to become their own. And they obsessively keep track of their bags, their checked bags, because, as you know, we've had a tough summer with a lot of bags being lost and lost for weeks. And it's a new situation. I wouldn't say that we've seen that before, right?
Right.
And people put AirTags in their bags. And there was one lady here that said, "You are not closing this door. I told the flight attendant, you are not closing this door until you have made sure that my bags are on this plane." So she was on the flight. She was sitting in first class. She saw on the thing that the bags are not there yet. They're over there by the other plane that she connected with. But whoever it was, doesn't matter who it was. I obviously blew it there. But the airline, they said she said that in the airline group that I'm not getting. So she literally told the flight attendant, you got to go make sure, get the gate agent, make sure that my bag's on this plane. And that's what AirTag entitlement is.
AirTag entitlement. I think that's okay. That's a new catchphrase. So people are monitoring their bags and sort of becoming luggage handlers. And if your bag isn't on the plane, you freak out and say, this plane can't take off. My bag's not here. How far? Right. I've never had an AirTag. It's an Apple product. I know that. Isn't it? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So an AirTag is
like, and you put it in your bag, but what if
finder, if you will.
But what if your bag goes to Istanbul and you go to Tampa, Florida? Can you still find it?
Yeah. As long as you're in close to somebody that has an iPhone, it pings people with an iPhone. With anybody that has an iPhone is a beacon. So billions of people are beacons around the world. Okay,
but they don't find out about your bag. But it broadcasts something. So if my bag accidentally goes to Istanbul when I'm flying to Tampa, and I land in Tampa, I can go on my Apple, my iPhone or my computer, and it'll show that my bag is at Istanbul Airport.
Correct. Just like you're looking up your iPad or making them ping and all that stuff.
All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Product.
So you have the Turkish luggage handler, Schneedy, right? He looks at his phone and he has an iPhone, Urkun or Ardan. He has his iPhone in his pocket, and that iPhone has just found your bag. And I'm saying I think it's brilliant that what the AirTag does. It's not made for that. If you go to the Apple website and you hear what the AirTag is made for, it's made for having it on your keys, having it in your backpack if somebody steals your backpack, and all that stuff. They do not want you to use them on pets because they're, as when you look on your phone, I couldn't find my Apple Watch here the other day. And when the Apple Watch runs out of batteries, right, and after a couple of days, I was looking for it, and it said that my watch was in the woods where I was hiking last weekend. So it's not 100% accurate, and that's how that goes. But I mean, at the end of the day, you need to be online in order to get things. But so that's Apple wants you to use it as that. Okay. I'm saying it's that the correct way, the way I put it in, and I haven't checked the bag since AirTags came out. Obviously, we had the C word happening for 2.5 years, but it came out right in the beginning of COVID, right? So I haven't checked the bag, but the way properly to use it is if the airlines can't locate your bag, right? If that's the case, they can't locate your bag. And it's, follow the process. If you lose this is my advice. I don't know if you guys agree, but if your bag is missing or saying that it didn't show up at the airport, or you see that it's gone and all that kind of stuff, normally you have all of the airlines have on their app. United has it, American has it. You can go in and you can track where your bag is because they scan them when they go into a plane or where somebody is. When a Delta or whatever bag handler scans something, it'll show up on your phone immediately, right?
Right.
So that's how that goes. I say that it's a great thing. For what we've seen this summer that has happened is that bags are gone for weeks and they don't know where the hell they are. That's when you use them. So go to baggage handler, you follow the process. Don't go up in the airline's faces. I have 11 screenshots that I looked for the other day where people are confronting cabin crew, confronting gauge agents. And I don't know, Marshall, you used to work for an airline. Do even flight attendants know anything about bags or have any contact with the baggage handlers?
No, not at all. It may be different now because they walk around with iPhones or whatever, but they have no ability, no visibility to help you in that regard.
Okay, I think
when I see a post that a flight gets delayed 15 minutes because somebody wants to make sure that their bags are on the plane, don't be that guy or that lady.
No.
So I mean, at the end of the day, I think that if the airline has genuinely lost your bag, go to the luggage, lost baggage claim and baggage claim, report your bag stolen or missing. And if it says in the app, they will usually know. Normally what happens when a bag is missing is, oh, Mr. Danielsen, your bag is on the next flight. We'll bring it to your house. That's usually what happens. And that's usually how that goes. And at the end of the day, that's how it should be, in my opinion, is kind of the gig. So that's what AirTag entitlement is. Now we're going to talk about coffee.
That's 8 minutes on
Delta
AirTag.
is Rudy's favorite airline, right?
What's that?
Delta is your favorite airline, right?
Well, do I have a choice? I live in Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's one of their biggest hubs, and you know,
Sun
I fly
Country,
Delta
baby.
because
That's a good airline.
yeah, but it's a limited schedule. So
Huh?
I mean, I wanted to go to Miami the other day,
So,
and they've got one flight on Saturday. You know, what if I want to go Wednesday or Thursday? Can't on Sun Country. You know, so that it's not exactly the most robust airline around for scheduling and flexibility. Anyway, what do
right.
you want to talk? Oh, you want to talk about Delta and Starbucks?
Yeah, Delta and Starbucks has a relationship. It's funny because it's Ryan Butts who used to run Alaska Airlines loyalty program. He was head of loyalty for that. He's now VP of loyalty and strategic marketing for Starbucks. So that's the gig. They're doing it with Delta. It's funny because he worked for Alaska, who is the arch nemesis in Seattle, right?
Right. So how does it work if you buy a Delta ticket, you get some Starbucks points, and if you buy Starbucks, you get some Delta miles?
You get, once the accounts are linked, members will earn 1 mile per dollar spent on eligible Starbucks purchases. And on days the enrolled members have a scheduled flight with Delta, they will earn double stars on eligible purchases at participating Starbucks stores.
Is that it?
Correct. So when you now go to a Starbucks every day, and as you know, we call it Sky Pesos for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So you need to buy. So we looked at normally last I looked here going to Japan. There is
how many cups of coffee?
I require one way in business class is 325,000 miles one way for one person.
That's a lot of cups of coffee, even with bonus points at the airport.
So that means 325,000. That means I need to drink if it's a double doppio that I have that costs $202.65 in California. I need to buy over 100,000 cups of coffee in order to get my one-way business class trip to Japan. How about that?
All the best.
All right, but if you fly Delta, it doesn't work the other way. You don't get Starbucks points if you fly
get
Delta.
stars if only the day that you fly.
Yeah, okay, only the day you fly. Okay, got it. Right. Okay, good.
The day you fly, if you go to a Starbucks store, you get double stars.
Hey, are those airport Starbucks eligible stores or participating stores? I hope so.
They better be.
They are.
It's the day you fly.
Okay.
Yes, the day you fly. So hopefully they're not going to send you to the suburbs of Atlanta to pick up your coffee.
Okay.
Quick hits.
I linked my accounts.
Pardon?
I linked my accounts. My Starbucks.
You did.
Already?
IHG, you did it already. Yeah. I haven't done it. I might do it. I mean, free miles are free miles. I mean, the Hyatt stuff is there are, I've linked my American Airlines account to Hyatt, and it's just free points coming in. I mean, why the hell not? Of course, it's linked to how much money you spend regardless. That's how miles and points work. So
yeah, and
I'm not expecting to spend $3 and to get 100,000 miles for it. But anyways,
I've linked my credit cards to my Uber and Lyft accounts too, and that I ride a lot of Uber and Lyft, so that adds up. Okay. IHG One Rewards Club offer.
This
is how you
I'm going to put the comments in the description with a link. There is a live link as of today, and we are October 13th. You can put in your IHG number or onto the link that I just texted here, and you get instant top tier with Diamond. I said Diamond. Is that the highest one, Marshall? Or
it is.
Right. So you get instant top tier by just signing up and you get it through the end of this year. And if you stay 10 nights before the end of this year at an IHG property, which is Holiday Inn and Kimpton and Intercontinental Hotels and many, many brands, then you get Diamond for next year as well. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, if you use those hotels, that's a great deal. You don't have to stay 10 nights. Well, what is it? It's October. So you got 3 months, 2.5 months to stay 10 nights. And you get Diamond for the next year. Not bad. If you can use it.
Pretty good.
Okay.
And Lufthansa, and I think that I don't like it the way that I looked it up a little. I apologize. I don't like it the way that Lucky has started recycling his articles. When there is a little bit of an update, he kind of launches this as a new one. But it seems like Lufthansa has taken delivery about a month and a half ago of their first 787-9. So they have the medium-sized 787, the one that has a very long range. And they have 32 of these on order, and they have an interim business class because this was intended to intended to go to Hainan Airways. So they have just taken the Hainan Airways seats and that are these and put them into Lufthansa colors, and that's how they look. So the new Lufthansa business class is this, but this here is the way that for these particular airplanes that the first 787s they have, which is a big improvement of the current Lufthansa product, right? Which is this.
Yep.
It's actually not. This is they usually they don't face inwards now. They face the other way around. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So that's a quick hit there. Another quick hit is Air Tahiti has for many years had flights. Anybody flown Air Tahiti?
I have, yes. Long time ago. I can't tell you anything definitive about it. It's fine.
I flew them. No, I didn't. I flew Air Fiji about 6 months or about two. Right, the last intercontinental flights I took was on Fiji, Air Fiji from Fiji to San Francisco. But they've now. I see that they've started 787-9, and there's some. What do we have for flights that are freedom flights here? So we have Emirates flies to Milan from New York. Air Tahiti flies from LA to Paris, don't they? I think
maybe
also they're also before the pandemic. I to be honest, I am not up to par on that, but I've also flown in Cathay Pacific business class from New York to Vancouver on their triple, which
Singapore
also is
does Singapore still do JFK to Frankfurt?
They do JFK to Frankfurt, and they do correct. Absolutely right. I forgot about that. JFK to Frankfurt and Houston to Manchester.
I did not know about the Manchester.
And then onwards too. I've taken it a couple of times, and actually, I flew into Manchester in first class. It had the first class in the beginning, then they changed it to the 350 that doesn't have first class. But I flew a Singapore first class from Houston to Manchester, and I took the train, and it's pretty fast. Virgin trains from Manchester wasn't that far. I got on the train, I had a little breakfast, and then boom, you're in London. So not the worst gig if you want to have a decently long flight with Singapore versus somebody else.
While we're on airlines, can I bring up another topic we didn't put on our list, though?
Yeah, let's finish this one first. So Air Tahiti also has already started to fly from Papeete to Seattle, and now they're for next summer they're actually opening up Seattle to Paris. So you can fly Seattle to Paris, leaving Seattle to 2:35 in the afternoon, and gets in the morning at 9:05, and Paris to Seattle is 12:05, gets in at 1:20. Great flights, and also a lot of award availability is usually the case here, using various other miles as well.
Okay. United has launched a whole bunch of new international cities. I'll go through them real fast. United.
I don't think they're new. I think they're just a reintroduction.
No, 3 new destinations are Malaga, Spain, Stockholm, Sweden, and Dubai, all from Newark. As you know, in October, late this month, United.
Yeah, so one of them, they've had seasonal routes. They've had year-long routes with the 757 to Stockholm, but they stopped because of the pandemic. And same with Dubai, they've also done that. I think Malaga might be new.
Well, it's new to all of them are new to a lot of people. It's also it's also the only North American airline offering flights to Amman, Jordan, the Azores, Portugal, Palma de Mallorca, and Tenerife, Spain. They're very proud of this. And then they are adding 6 more flights to Rome, Paris, Barcelona, London, Berlin, and Shannon. And they're bringing back 9 routes from last summer, direct flights from nonstop flights from Newark to Nice, Denver to Munich, Boston and London, Chicago and Zurich, Chicago here and Milan. So they're
Francisco to Paris
United
is also reopening. See, San Francisco. Actually, I think San Francisco to Paris is a new route.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's on. More flights on June 2nd. They're going to offer a second daily flight. And there are also flights from Paris, from Newark, Dulles, Chicago, and San Francisco. So, basically the bottom line is United is betting on, big travel in 2022, 2023. So.
Yeah, I think that they're just redirecting they're moving things around. What we're seeing right now is cutbacks and cutbacks and cutbacks. I don't think that the market is as hot as you think it is. I think that it's actually pretty horrible, the bookings for the next 2 quarters, except for the big holidays. Next thing I want to talk to you a little bit about, the FTU has its first in-person event, which is going to be in Orange County, where hopefully you'll see Marshall and myself down there, and also Stefan Krasowski from Rapid Travel Chai, Matthew Clint from Live and Let's Fly, and also our new favorite journalist, Vicky Walker, who writes a lot for the New York Times and also has a book going out. We got Sunitra from TPG. We got our friend Kevin Song, who runs the FTU Facebook group. He's the moderator there with 3 other people. Grant Thomas with Travel with Grant. Chris Carley. Ben Coleman-Cool, his first appearance at an FTU. We've never had him come and join us before. Chris Palentos. Sorry, I don't know who he is. Finesse Traveler. So that sounds pretty cool. And then Carissa Rawson, who is a Afghanistan vet. And also I think she was a captain or a lieutenant in the Army that's now doing travel hacking, which is pretty. And then you got this guy here over here too. So there are still tickets available. It's a full weekend. It's a classic FTU or signature event where our members pay $149. And we also have, if you remember, you get free. We have a bowling tournament on Saturday where you get to see my fat ass beat you in bowling. So that should be fun too, right?
Very funny.
All right.
So what's going on out there what's going on in California in that railroad they're never going to finish?
That's the last thing we're going to talk about. It's a longer subject. So we're going to do another quick take here also in the Miles and Points gig. American Airlines has have a long relationship with Basque Bank, and Basque Bank is offering you, instead of getting interest on your money being in the bank, you get miles, American miles. And they are offering, you can see Gary has made a list of things how it's gone in the, and right now you get, the interest that you get is 3.05%, which is paid out in American Airlines miles instead of paying out money. How do we feel about that?
That's not bad. I mean, if you want points, 3% is on a buck is pretty good.
Yeah, if honestly, is it really? Look at these things. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you shouldn't have any issues getting substantial money for this. Is just the bank rate. Interest rates have gone up, which also means that savings accounts go up.
Right.
So, do we really feel like 3.05% paid out in American currency is better than getting?
It's not earth-shaking or life-changing, but if you want to, don't want to think about it and get 3% worth of miles, go ahead. I mean,
I think it's stupid.
It's not much. You can get 2.75 at a bank now. So.
If you have $100,000 in here, that means that you get, 2.85% is the highest one that I've, as of today, in a public offering with no monthly fees and no minimum balance. If you have $100,000 in here, that means you get almost $3,000 in a year.
Right.
And what do you get? You get 3,000 American miles. Get the hell out of here. Who the hell does that?
That's not a good deal. I know. It's like if
better than crypto.
Money, go for it.
Better than crypto these days.
It's horrible. It's a really big. You can even buy how many American miles? Let's check that out.
That's true.
Buy American miles.
That's true.
Let's see. You see here. Let's see here. Buy gift transfer miles with advantage. Fun times. Buy miles. Oh, crap. I got to log on. And there's my advantage number. That's no good. Doesn't matter. Whoops. We don't even care. There's no miles in there anyways. I don't know how much it is. How much is it to buy American? How much it costs to buy? 2.95 cents each mile. See?
Yep.
So that means that if
0.05 advantage.
That means that, here's an article from TPG.
Right.
So buying American miles, you buy 2.4. So you buy 4, it's literally 2.8 2.45 cents per mile. So that means that you're losing big time. Really bad idea by somebody that wants to earn affiliates for signing up for that stupid account. All right, let's talk about the Venture X. The biggest hit of last year was the Venture X card. Who has the Venture X card?
I do, because you told me to get it.
I did, and I got it as well. It was my first new credit card in a long time, and I did have a Capital One card back in the days, like 2011, 2012, and being a customer in the last year, it has made me remember why I kind of didn't like being a customer of Capital One. So, and I also was chatting with Pizza the other day, my dear friend Ed Pizzarello. Yeah. And I think he was going to do a thing. I think I saw it on the, I have the thing that pops up on your Instagram. What is it called? The short things that are there for a little bit.
Yeah. The ones that disappear. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to talk about it on his podcast today. What is it called? Miles to Go. And it was frightening how horrible that we've had exactly the same experiences. So if we were to look at the card, what it gives you. So you got 100,000 miles for signing up, right? You get 10,000 miles, which equals to 100 towards travel, which sure, let's go with that. And then you get $300 annual travel credit, which means that you have to book something through Capital One Travel in order to get that money to take care of. So that means that you have to book through a third party in order to spend that money, which I did. And then you get your global entry and stuff, which, every credit card has. So that's really not the gig, is it? For earning, you get, and here's the kicker, you get, if you buy things through the portal, and I would do that for Maxa Tours, I would buy hotels that we could buy in advance through a third party that were in areas where there were no chains. I would buy it and get 10 miles per dollar spent. And I have a significant balance here for sure. Miles booked on flights through Capital One Travel. There it is again. I don't do that. I want to deal with the airlines directly. I don't want to deal with a third party. And then the kicker is the 2 miles on all other purchases every day. So there's a lot of 1X categories, right? What 1X category is anything that's not related to travel, dining, and shipping, and social media ads, and the usual suspects, right?
So Tommy, is your gripe that you can't book directly?
No, I'll tell you what the gripe here is. First of all, when I got the card and I started using it, Capital One shut down my account after about a week. And they wanted me, I was actually, and this is the funny part. So Capital One has a branch, and they have a branch/cafe where I live in Roseville, California. I don't live in Roseville, but that's the town that's closest to where we are. And what they do, what the Capital One, it's like a cafe where you can get a sandwich and you get half off of the stuff when you use your card. So I went in there, Melinda was doing something and I was waiting. So I went into the Capital One store and I purchased a cup of coffee because it's 50% off. I got a double espresso and my card was declined. So I was like, what's going on? Well, it's we need to verify a few things with your account. And I was like, okay. So I went on to the other side and I talked to the people in there. I said, you have to call. And I was like, what are you talking about? Isn't that branch? Yes, it's a branch, but you have to verify this with our peoples. So I go home and I call and they say, hey, we need you to send you our birth certificate and a copy of your driver's license. And I said, can I go to the branch and have them do it? No, you have to upload it online, which, really? And I had to do that. So I did that and it took them a week to open my account. So if this was my only credit card, I would have to be a whole week without a credit card. So think about it if I was overseas and that happened. So
and you never found out why you had to do this. They never told you.
They had to make sure that it was me using the card.
Well, they never didn't do that with me. I mean, they don't do it with everybody. They go nuts.
Have you used it? Have you used it at all?
Sure. I've been using it for a year since I got it. Yeah.
No problem. So that's the first thing. And guess what?
Okay.
Pizza did that. And it happened twice with him. Actually, I didn't have my birth certificate because I'm not from here. So I don't know where the hell my birth certificate is. So they relented. I only had to send them my driver's license. And after 3 months after, I had to do it again. They shut down the account one more time also.
You're a shady guy.
It happened to Pizza also. It happened it happened to him twice as well. So I don't know. Maybe maybe it has to. So I spend many $100,000s a year on my company expenses on my credit cards. Maybe that was it. I don't know. They give me a very high limit, much higher than I would expect for not having any cards with them. And that was the first thing. And then the second thing is that if you are to have you tried to make an international purchase on a website with that card?
I've used it overseas in person at restaurants, but I haven't used it on a website internationally. No.
Okay. I want you to go and buy a ticket at Deutsche Bahn or any train company or anywhere outside of the U.S., any company that's based out of the U.S.
They won't take it?
They have to send you a text message for every transaction and get you to put that number of text message into the purchase window before you can do a transaction. I was using the card. I was sitting here and I'm not going to lie. I haven't since I had to verify it, all that stuff. I just forget it. And unless I have, it's been successful to use in Apple Pay, right? But I have just, I've kind of been off of the card already. So I sat down the other week. I was going to buy, 36 things, prepay things for our upcoming Christmas market tours. So I sat down. I had a list that I've gotten from Melinda of things I needed to buy. So I sat down and boop, it popped up. And I was like, okay, I saw that before. I thought that was random, but apparently not. So I called in and I said, I got completely wrong information. I said, oh, this is verified by Visa. Visa are the ones that require that. And I was like, what? And then I said, so I looked it up while I was on hold to speak to somebody else. And I looked it up.
Tommy, what were they requiring?
They're requiring me to get a text message for every online purchase that's not in the United States.
All right, the text message thing.
So after the fourth text message, and for some reason, because this is a family account and I don't know how to log on to banks. That's all Melinda. So all of the stuff that has to do with the banks and emails and bills that goes to her, I have no idea. So chances are, of course, 99.999% that I'm the one who's going to be dropping dead out of the two of us. So we're good. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know how to do that. So she gets all the text messages. So she was texting me text messages. And of course, I know you can change that, but that's not the point here. So they lied and they said, oh, it's verified by Visa. So I chatted with Visa when I was on the phone with them. And they said, no, that's not first of all, it's not verified by Visa. That's a function that Capital One has. And the fraud department said, yes, if you want to purchase something online outside, you have to verify every single purchase if it's outside of the U.S. So,
all right. Okay. All right.
So, and also, how long were they down, Marshall? I was going to transfer miles over. I had miles I was going to use for a campaign and book some tickets for Japan next year. How long were they down?
A long time. I don't have the card, so I haven't experienced that, but I remember hearing about it.
What, the website was down?
The ability to transfer miles and points from Capital One, same as Amex, was down for over 2 weeks. And they were definitely hacked. That's the only explanation. They didn't send an email. They sent a lot of text messages, but saying that our shit is not working. They didn't send that. So I haven't gotten an explanation. Nobody has gotten an explanation what actually happened. So, so I was transferring those. I have like 300,000 of them. I was going to transfer it out and redeem them and get rid of those points and downgrade to a lower card. And that was my plan because my renewal date is in a couple of weeks. So, but I couldn't do it. Of course, the award availability was already long gone by the time they got their stuff to work. And I mean, yes, half a day, 2 hours, maybe a day, that happens. But over 2 weeks, that is pathetic.
Okay.
So I called
all right, I got it. Okay.
No. I'm not done.
But Tommy, you'll miss the lounge.
You're not done yet? You've done 20 minutes on this. What? Finish
7. We've done 7 minutes on it. The last thing is, I called them yesterday.
Feels like 20.
I called them yesterday and I said, hey guys, what's going on with this card? I told them, yeah, we see you've had some problems with your account. We can give you a higher limit. We can do this and that. I said, I don't need a higher limit. I don't need anything. I just need you to remove that thing and you can't do it. And I need you to acknowledge how you've screwed things really poorly up for me. What can you offer me? And it was nothing. They don't have a retention offer altogether. And the lady said they have 2 cards, right, that they can use. You have the free one, which is the regular venture. What are they called again? I don't even remember.
Venture reward, something like that.
It was called the, I don't even know. Let's see here. They have 3 cards. They have one that's free, and they have one that's $95 a year, right? And the $95 a year one is the one I wanted to have because it still had 2x, and I could use it for whatever because you need to, if I cancel the card, first of all, I lose the $45,000 limit that's on my credit. That's the first thing. And the second thing is I also lose all my miles.
Right.
So I have 300,000 of them, and I obviously need to plan on what to do with them. But at the end of the day, that was the story. And she was like, "You're not eligible." So they have that, and then they have the $95. I said, "I'm going to do the $95 because that gives me 2 free passes to your lounge, which if I go through Dallas, that's a good idea." And she was, "Well, you're not eligible to downgrade to that." And I was like, "What?
You're not eligible to downgrade?
You're not eligible to upgrade," she said, for that. I said, and she said, well, "You can only get the free one." So, but call back when your date in a couple of weeks, right before your new renewal date, and we'll see what we can do. So Capital One, it's now a soft drawer card. It's a $400 a year soft drawer card that's going to be downgraded to a 0-1. It's just a horrible company to deal with in very many areas. And so let's talk about the high-speed rail. And Marshall and I have talked about California high-speed rail quite a bit.
How's it coming?
Have you read any? Did you read the article in the New York Times on Sunday?
I did not. No,
I did.
You did. All right.
because I knew you and I would definitely want to talk about it.
Yeah, I feel like so it's very inaccurate and very outdated, and also an article that should have been written a long time ago. And the kind of the gist of it, where we need to start here, is why is it so difficult to build big infrastructure projects in the United States? Why is it so difficult?
We like our roads. Trains less so.
Yeah. Well, I think that also when it comes to
so where's this route supposed to run? LA, San Francisco?
Yes. You're kidding? You don't have even that much information?
Well, sorry, if I sneeze once, I got to sneeze 12 times. No, I knew they were working on it, and I know it's been taking a long time, but I didn't know if maybe they readjusted the stop in the valley.
So the problem here is politics, right? And the route, and this is like beating a dead horse. They started this in 2008. It was approved in 2008. And it was supposed to be $45 billion then, and now it's $100 billion, the cost of it. And but I think that we can also say that, Marshall, I would say that you think that, can you say that that's correct? That even roads, big road projects, also takes a massive amount of time and costs a massive amount of money here in the U.S. compared to other countries.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're talking about the Bay Bridge, for example, so how long was the Bay Bridge delayed?
I don't know.
It was delayed for so now we're seeing traffic alerts. It was delayed. Let's see. Here we go. So it was delayed. It was supposed to be. They started planning on replacing the Bay Bridge right after the earthquake in was it 80s or 90s? The big earthquake.
You're the California.
1989 was when that's supposed to be. And that bridge, one single freaking bridge, was will cost $15 billion for that bridge. So I'm not gonna, we're not gonna get into that. But I mean, for those who, this is where we're at, right? Politics, lawsuits from individuals, from hillbilly rednecks who doesn't want to have stuff built on their land. Rudy's sneezing in the other room, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the,
I'm sparing for you're having to watch me blow my nose.
and at the end of the day, what pretty much happened is that everybody wants a piece of the pie. Construction in the U.S. is in general much more expensive because lawyers need to get paid, landowners need to get paid because America and freedom and all that stuff, and all of that thing, and also politics is involved. If you look at the map that's right in front of you, Rudy.
So have they built anything yet? Does it get to the Central Valley? Is it built?
Yes.
Anything?
Right now, it's approved and funded. The railroad from Merced to Bakersfield. That's going to be done in 2029.
But there's nothing running at all yet? Nothing.
No.
And also from San Francisco to San Jose.
Yeah.
And soon also from San Jose to Gilroy. It will be done before 2029 because of high-speed rail has paid Caltrain with their electrification between San Francisco and San Jose and then to Gilroy. They've paid $800 million worth of their money to get access to those tracks and to make that upgrade so the trains can go faster. There are more passing areas, and also it's electric. So this piece here from Gilroy to San Francisco will be done by 2029, and the same from Merced to Bakersfield. So from this intersection right here and to Gilroy is a big piece that's going to cost a lot of money. And as you can see, it's not really in a straight line, is it?
It's out in the farmland.
And that has to do with the asshole politician in Palmdale who wanted to have, I got to look out for my constituents. We need to have high-speed rail here. So that's why we take a 15-minute detour, because some jerk-off politician in Palmdale wants to make sure that he gets reelected by his constituents. Now, I do see that, not all rail projects go in a straight line. They're still going to meet the demand, which is that it needs to be 2 hours and 40 minutes from San Francisco to LA or less. They're still going to meet that because they're going to go faster in the Central Valley than expected. So, but what's the reality of what's going on the ground versus this New York Times article? And it's funny because we have something called a street blog in San Francisco, which I'm a little bit more, I don't swear and use profanity and call people things. New York Times published this California's discredited high-speed rail hating hack. That was the answer to that. And Roger Rudnick, he's a cool guy. He follows the process pretty well. And we can't blame construction here. They're actually going to finish what's been approved in advance. They're going to finish that way in advance. It was supposed to be done in 2030, and COVID, put us a little bit behind. They're going to be done in 2020 now. Now, of course, it's not going to be San Francisco to LA, but you can. One of the main goals for building a rail project, and Rudy, you have traveled extensively with rail in Europe, so you know how that goes. It means that that means that what's holding tech companies back in Silicon Valley is that people can't afford to live there. A 2-bedroom bungalow, 1,500 square foot bungalow with veneer from 1956 is like $2 million. Yeah, so it's too expensive to live there. So they're not going to get the talent that they need. That means that if you live in Merced or in Gilroy or anywhere outside, it will take you minutes. You can drive to the high-speed train. You can park there for free and charge your car for free. And then you can take the train into work for 15 minutes rather than sitting in traffic. And while you're on that train, because you know how high the quality of the European ICE trains are, or TGV or whatever, you can sit down, you can have a cup of coffee, you can read a paper for 15 minutes instead of sitting in your car bumping in traffic. Right. So it's not just the San Francisco to LA. San Francisco to San Jose and San Francisco to Gilroy on Caltrain, which is the new trains that are coming up in for next year. They were shown last week to the public in San Francisco. These new trains.
They're going to be high speed. They're going to be high speed, I presume.
They are 90 miles an hour. So, but remember how often Caltrain stops. So it's really not that critical. It's really not that critical that they go super fast, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
They
yep.
are these are the trains that they have, and also it's quite interesting also that these trains are not only all electric, but they're all made by zero emission electricity is what we're talking about here. So they go on the same lines. So since there's going to be multi-use, that means that between Gilroy and San Francisco, you only kind of have the Gilroy to the intersection between Merced and Madera that has not been good. And at that point, I think that California high-speed rate is viable. And they've done the study. The lawsuits have been dismissed for this. It just needs funding. And as you know, California has the 5th largest economy in the world. And we're set to have a surplus next year of over $90 billion. So they will have the money to do that piece next year. That's the goal. And also with sensible people now, Trump put the kibosh on this as well by refusing to transfer federal funds that were approved to the project. So politicians have delayed California high-speed rail. That's the problem in the United States. And that's why it takes, how long does it take to take the train, the Acela from DC to New York?
3 hours.
Yeah. What is it, 3 hours now?
Yeah, it's probably just a shade under, but I plan on 3 hours.
Yeah.
Which should have taken an hour.
It should take about an hour and a half, but
yeah,
we don't have the tracks for it and don't have the money for it. So.
Right. So looking
it
at
still beats flying.
Yep, it does. It does. No question. No question. Yeah.
No, I mean, for people, and also, I think that it's kind of interesting for people that are not familiar with it, that we're talking about here. See the bridge here? This is built. This is already finished. They have bridges like this all over the place.
Sure.
And the building projects are going on every single day. There are 6,000 people building high-speed rail. Look at these things. They're going to pass by 220 miles an hour. And we're not talking about a slouch here. These trains are going to be faster than the Shinkansen. They're going to be 220 miles an hour. Shinkansen, it tops out at 295 kilometers an hour, which is
that's
how much
fast.
is that to 2 miles per hour? That's 183 miles per hour. So this is going to be faster than the bullet trains in Japan.
And where are these? Where are all these trains? Florida?
What?
Are these California trains?
What you see in the picture here on the screen?
Yeah, well, I got it on a phone, so it's so tiny I can't see.
So the pictures you're seeing here on the screen are building projects in California that's ongoing right now.
For this train?
For the high-speed train in yes. Okay. Every day, 5,000 people goes to work and builds high-speed train in California.
All right.
Here are the dudes that
somebody's working on it. That's good. That's good. Okay.
Right. So I mean, what we're seeing here from Bakersfield up to Merced will be done in 7 years from now, and California to Gilroy will be the station, San Jose station, and past San Jose station is electrified and will be available for high-speed rail next year. But and Gilroy also in the next 4 years. So they will be Gilroy to this intersection right here is what's left in order for it to not be what these banana right-wing lunatics and also people who don't have any clue at all of what's going on here.
So
are calling the train to nowhere. It won't be a train to nowhere anymore because that means that the Bay Area will be using the train. And also, we're also talking the lower part of the train as well, from Bakersfield to Palmdale and to what's it called, the Burbank Airport. It's also approved. It just needs funding, and they can build that parallel at the same time.
What's the ETA for the LA San Francisco whole route?
That's to be determined. But if they get the funding, I would say 2033, 34.
I think I'm going to miss out on that at the rate I'm going.
Doubtful. You talking about the sneezing?
Yeah.
No, you know, Rudy, there are people that live to be 100 years, and you're one of those guys.
Yeah, lucky me. Well, I hope they get that train done. I've been hearing about it for so many years. I just haven't gotten an update lately. But thank you for that.
Yeah, I think that it's
region would
just
be
disappointing
ideal
that
for
the New York Times was there. This was not a good piece of journalism. It just
What
wasn't.
did you, Marshall? I didn't get what you said, Marshall.
I just I feel like the region, San Francisco to LA down to San Diego, is ideal for high speed rail.
And Vegas.
Of course it is. And Vegas. Yeah. Yep.
No,
No
I think it'll be great, and I think that it'll have wonders for traffic. I mean, I can't imagine. The funny part is that I'm in Sacramento or outside of Sacramento. I would love the distance from where I am to San Francisco is exactly how far it is from Hanover to Hamburg, which is 36 minutes. So I could actually get on the train, go have sushi, have a couple of drinks at a bar in San Francisco, get on the train and get back home before bedtime. And I can't do that now because it's between, if there's no traffic on the road, which never happens in California. But if we're talking about that, we're talking about no traffic. It's 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
If there is traffic, the longest it's taken me to drive from San Francisco airport to back home is 5 hours and 20 minutes to drive 110 miles.
Well, we were supposed to, when I moved here to the Twin Cities 20 years ago, there was all this razzmatazz about the high-speed train between the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Chicago. But then the governor of Wisconsin decided he didn't want the train to go through Wisconsin, which was like, well, that ain't going to happen. So we have a very slow. I remember when I first moved here, I lived right across the street from the new redone, fabulous multi-million, $500 million train station in St. Paul. And I thought, well, this is great. The Amtrak train comes right through here. I can get on the train and just go to Chicago. It'll be so easy. So I went across the street and I said, I figured I'd read the paper, have lunch. I said, how long is now? I can drive door to door, downtown Chicago to downtown St. Paul in 6 hours in a car. I said, so the train that goes every day to Chicago and comes back, how long does it take? 9 hours.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that dream. So.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating and pathetic. And I just, Americans just don't understand. The ones who travel, the people who watch this, they know, they understand. They've been to Japan, they've been to Germany, they've been to France, and they know that getting on the train takes, you go to, 188 miles an hour, going from Heathrow into the city, 15 minutes, going from Oslo airport, it takes an hour and 20 minutes with a taxi versus 18 minutes with the train. Same in Stockholm. Travelers get it. I mean, the ability to first of all, most people don't have really nice cars anyway. So you're going to sit in your clunky old car and Marshall has a Mini, for crying out loud. You're going to drive your Mini to San Francisco.
Don't make fun of our Mini.
No, I think that it's just a little bit disappointed about the piece. I just expect a little bit more from the New York Times, to be honest with you. And it's rare that I say that. I have massive respect for journalism as a profession, and it's the most important thing, and how that has been taken a hit the last few years. When 99.999% of reporting is accurate, it's a shame that people are using that. And that's, again, another thing, the problem with everything with this country: politics. Politics ruins everything. There you have it.
Hey, I don't talk about politics.
Yeah. Miles and points. Do you want to wrap it up, boys? Anything
well, you're gonna
else?
have a hard time not, Marcia, you're gonna have a hard time not talking about politics tonight, given today's January 6th.
Oh, I know.
And I'll leave it at that. But you live in Washington, where I used to live forever, so you can't avoid politics. But I understand you don't do it in a public forum like this. But we've got Tommy's rant on Capital One Venture X card. We've got his rant
that's
on
not politics.
trains.
That's bad. That's bad corporate.
That's
decision.
customer service.
Well, I'm just talking about ranting. That we got two rants today. I think Tommy feels a lot better now. I think we should bill him hourly for those kind of rants. But
Tommy's very passionate about high-speed rail in California and Capital One.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
no, he
don't get him started, Marshall. You get him started again.
He couldn't be less interested in Capital One. Capital One is. I'm very pragmatic when it comes to credit cards. That's just the way that it goes. But the Russian spammers are catching us right now, so let's make sure that we get rid of them, and we will see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Can we remind people that we did this?
Folks.
Can we remind people we did this on the 13th of October of 2022? So
no, because this is not as professional as your show.
Goodbye. Thanks, you guys.
Goodbye. We'll see you guys next time.